Okay, and we are live here on the Rebel Fleet. My name is Matthew Seidel, and I am your Red Leader. And I am joined here today by my co-hosts and some of my best friends. We have our Rogue Leader, Matthew Twaska.
Yeah, you know.
We are joined today by our Blue Leader, Evan Medina.
No comment.
And and we're joined today again by our Gold Leader, Matthew Manser.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, so what up?
See, now it's not funny to me because you already said it.
It was funny the
Good
first time
try.
he said
Yeah, it was funnier the first time.
Well, whatever.
No comment.
And as some people may or may not know, but probably don't know, I've been gathering questions for a Q&A this week, and
Really?
we are... Shut the hell up.
Is that true?
I've been gathering questions for a Q&A, and we got 25 questions in altogether, which is a pretty good starting point, I think. A lot of questions for us to answer, and we're going to get started right. We're going to just get right started because there's a lot to do. So the first question is from the username Boba Fett is back. And the first question is, and it's a stupid one, I won't disagree, is Darth Maul goth? I mean, come on.
I don't think you're off to a hot start by calling your first question stupid. But
Well, I mean, come on. If you're a big Star Wars fan like any of us, you know that Darth Maul isn't goth.
I just don't. Is it because he's
Have
wearing
you
like
asked
face
him?
paint? Like,
It's the way his species looks. He's a Dathomirian
that's what I'm
Zabrak.
saying. That's what I was
I
saying.
see him
though.
being a little
That's
gothic.
Yeah, I think you guys are.
No,
I mean, I can
outside
see
of
why
this
he
one.
appeals to gothic people, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's not a goth.
yeah, not himself.
No.
That's why I think that
I
question
don't
is very foolish.
I don't really
What
think
do you
that's
know
a
about
thing
him?
in the Star Wars universe. Like there aren't
Not that I've
goths
seen.
and emo kids, and it's Star Wars.
I've heard he
come
likes
on.
emo music, actually.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years strong or something.
I found his iPhone and I saw all the music he was listening to.
All right.
All right, so anybody have anything else to contribute to question number one?
Absolutely.
Go to question number
Darth
2,
Maul
please.
is goth
It's
Okay.
confirmed.
for president.
Okay, so you heard it here first. Darth Maul is in fact a goth, and not a
Okay.
Dathomirian Zabrak.
No, nice
Well,
try.
it's a
Guess
hell of
not.
a lot easier to say. So
Yeah, I guess it is. Okay,
Goth it is.
goth it is, yeah. Okay, point made. All right, so the next few questions come from Hapes War Dragon. First question from him is, why didn't Obi-Wan recognize R2 during A New Hope? I have a very simple answer to that. It's not too complicated. I believe that Obi-Wan was trying to hide from Luke that he had any connection to R2 or C-3PO. I think it would kind of compromise his mission. If you guys...
I mean, I don't want to sound like a party pooper, but my answer was even simpler, and it's that Episode 4 was made first, and there was no prequels at the time of its production, and
That's also very true.
continuity's just not there.
Why are you a party pooper?
I hate to be that guy who's the realist.
I
here,
like it.
but, I mean, it's true.
Party pooper. But you are the realist, and it's really that. Chances are, but the guy that thinks Episode 1 is the very first one and Episode 4 is Episode 4, I just want to believe that it would have compromised Obi-Wan's mission.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
think
my
that's a good explanation.
Yeah, I kind of have to lean. I kind of lean on both sides a little bit. I see both sides of what you and Evan say, but if we want to look at it as the whole all 6 movies, you know, I see your reasoning, but if we're just looking at Episode 4 was only originally just to be that one movie, then that'd be why.
Exactly. You are absolutely right. Anything anyone wants to add to that? Or do you think we just pretty much nailed that?
You pretty much hit both spectrums, so I
Nailed it.
Oh, God. Okay. Moving on to number 3.
mean, that's all, folks.
Yeah. In one of Rey's Force flashbacks, we saw Kylo Ren kill one of his own knights. The person asking the question believes he was stopping Rey from being killed by one of the Knights of Ren. Did he save her because she is his cousin? That's the first part of the question. Your thoughts?
I mean, it's kind of early to say if they're cousins or not.
Speculation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say yeah. I think they're related. I'm not sure if they're cousins, but I'd say I'd lean way more towards cousins than siblings
Yeah, I
because
think
it's already been done.
There's definitely a connection there, no doubt. So I would say yeah.
You would say yeah? Okay. So do we all agree that he was saving her because they're related?
No.
Okay. Now, if he was saving her, do you think he was saving her?
I'm gonna say no.
You're gonna say no. Okay. So you think maybe it was just part of the Force vision and that was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Anything you got, Manser?
I think Ray and Kylo. I think there's a relationship somewhere. I don't know if cousins is quite the tag to put on it. I don't really know, but they're definitely related in some way. I'm just not sure how. So I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. You definitely feel like there's some kind of connection, family connection, but you just can't tell which.
Yep. Fair enough. I think it's too soon to say.
What was the second part of the question? I'm sorry. It's a big question.
You got the first part of the question. You're good. Anyone have anything else to add to that, or are we good with that?
No, sounds good to me.
All right.
No comment.
No comment. Perfect. All right. Next part of the question was he the one that dropped her off on Jakku to not only protect her, but to stop her from ever realizing her Force power?
No.
So did
I
Kylo
don't
Ren...
think so.
You don't think he dropped her off on Jakku?
No.
No.
I think she was just left there, honestly.
So who left her on Jakku then, in your opinion?
I want to say Luke, when she was very young, possibly, but it's tough to say, really, because if you really think about it, it feels obvious, but at the same time, it's not.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't really know who her family is yet, so that's why it's hard to say. But
I'm gonna go out on a limb again, and I'm gonna say I do think Kylo was the one that dropped her off on Jakku. That's my opinion. I think he was still having trouble fully embracing the dark side, like he still is to today, where we are in the movie, and I think that's why he chose not to kill her and drop her off on Jakku rather than having to kill her or maybe not kill her but fight her again.
But how old
so
was
do you
he?
think that then when they were battling later on in the film, that it was more of like there were subtle clues there, but there was nothing like, because I mean they didn't make it obvious at any point that he was that person, but
No.
That's kind of Star Wars in a nutshell anyway. They never really do that.
Yeah,
So,
no, they won't reveal everything.
Right, so I mean I guess you could say that you have a point, because I mean she wouldn't even know that, or does she know that he's the one that dropped her off?
I don't think so, but
I don't think she knows.
I think if anything, she got her mind wiped.
Right, and it's like he definitely seemed, because remember when he freaks out like, what girl? Like when he says that, that's like, I think that's the best thing that supports what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. And then the next part of the question is that why Maz Kanata told her family was not coming back. Is that why Maz Kanata told her family was not coming back for her? Does Maz Kanata basically know the truth?
I think that there's a very good chance that could be the case, that whomever dropped her off is somebody that Maz would not want her to know about, at least right now, on her journey.
Yep, I agree. And I think maybe even, you remember when she said, tell me about the girl to Han? Maybe Han knew something and told her everything, kind of deal? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's possible.
I don't think so. I think She was just saying that because it's been such a long time since she's been dropped off, and if they haven't come back now, then obviously they're probably never gonna come
I
back.
think
So
she could have been stating the obvious. I feel like more, you know,
What do you mean?
like she was just saying, they haven't come back now, like Foster just said, and they're not coming back. Like it's been so long. Like why would they come back?
yeah, if
That's
they haven't
fair.
come back now, then they're probably not gonna. So
Yeah,
you
she
need to
could be
move on
doing
from
that to like further her, to make sure that she doesn't go back on anything that
Yeah.
she could accomplish in her life, or the journey
Yeah.
that she's going on right now. Like she doesn't want her to, because remember at that point, like Rey was considering, you know,
Going back
like
home.
saying fuck all this. I still have someone coming back to me, and
Yeah.
I think that Maz is trying to say, well, no, you don't. Like you need to worry about yourself and your future.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's a very good possibility. And we're just going to keep this moving along for question number 4. It's confirmed that Laura Dern has been cast for episode 8. Do you think she will be playing Rey's mom in some flashback scenes, or will she be alive and hiding from Kylo Ren and Snoke? I think this question's really hard.
Because it jumps to two different spectrums, really.
And not only that, but you're being asked to make a prediction for a movie that,
Yeah, there's not a lot of details on, but
right.
I'm not. I will say I think Laura Dern has been cast as Rey's mom, but I'm not
makes
sure
sense.
I'm not sure what way we'll see her. I don't think she's alive. I think we'll see her in a flashback.
Yeah.
And that's just going based off the grave we saw at the end of episode 7. Because I am almost, I'm like 99% positive that was a grave.
I mean, and that's where you could almost say that like Laura Dern's character was involved with Luke, and that's why Luke is standing there.
Yeah.
And that could mean that Luke is her father then. I mean,
yeah.
that possibility is obviously still a huge one. And I'm not saying that that's what I believe, but that does kind of connect that pretty well.
I think it does. What about you guys?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I really don't know because the question itself contradicts itself, really. In a way, it does. So.
How so?
Because you're saying one thing, you think it's Rey's mother, but why is then if it's Rey's mother, then why is she hiding from Kylo?
Because, well, let's think about it. Kylo and Snoke were looking for Luke, and if they could find Luke's wife or Rey's mom, whatever the connection is, then she might know where Luke is, and they might try and kill her. I don't know.
Yeah, but we never. But they not once did it ever say in Episode 7 that Luke got married to somebody.
No, you're right. It didn't.
So how
I'm going.
Really I mean, the entire premise of that movie was really just to find where Luke was.
Yeah.
Anything else.
Yeah. I mean, based off of these questions, so far it's all speculation coming from us, which is fine because I love these kind of questions. Don't get me wrong.
Right. But it's one of those things where like we can sit here and predict all day, but I mean we can only go based off what we know.
None of us don't have the answer for you.
No.
This is all what we could speculate, I guess.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is what I'm speculating, but we're. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I don't know. I feel like I still feel like the question kind of contradicts itself a little bit.
Okay, that's
You're
fair.
having an inner fight with yourself. Next question.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Hapes War Dragon, for the 3 awesome questions. We really appreciate that. Next, our questions are coming from a very good, loyal Twitter follower of mine. I forget his Twitter handle, but his name is Levi Jr.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I know. I didn't write it down. I just wrote it down as Levi Jr. And he had a very lengthy question, so I shortened it down because it was way too lengthy to read all out. It was basically, do we think it's true that Rey is the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi? I say no.
I always have liked that theory more than Luke being her dad.
There's only one reason I really like it, and it's because she's British.
Well, I mean that's part of it, but I don't know. I just think it switches things up a little more and continues the Kenobi legacy.
Yeah, it does.
And unless she is, then it doesn't connect that. And I like the idea of her being the granddaughter because then that means that Obi-Wan and the relations that he had were actually legit and not just part of EU, and I
Yeah.
think that's interesting.
Well,
So
I mean,
like
he
that. I
he
like
did.
that.
I will say in the Clone Wars when they were fighting on Mandalore, I believe he had a love interest there, which was really cool. So I mean,
That's right.
if Rey is the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi, it'd be really cool to see that be his like her grandmother, I guess.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Other two guys.
I hope she's not related to them at all.
Fair enough.
Like
Why
to
is that?
anybody?
Yeah. I just don't like how everybody has to be related to each other to try
That's
to keep the
fair.
story going. You know
I
what I mean?
actually felt the same way like after having seen the movie the first time. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
What about you, Manter?
See, I've heard this theory, right. It was a couple of days after I saw The Force Awakens for the first time, and it kind of got me thinking for a little bit. It's interesting that that theory was kind of interesting to me. It'd be kind of cool, I think, but I don't know. I have a hard time kind of seeing that. Could it kind of skip a generation in a way, and it's like we never
It
saw
skips
that.
a generation, but I don't know. I think it'd definitely be
The
cool to
thing
see the Skywalkers and the Kenobis go at it again. That's for sure.
It would be cool, but I don't know. I feel like it's just it would be cool, but I don't think it's realistically possible.
Yeah, see, I disagree, but that's why we have these little debates.
I mean, hey, if it can be, I guess it could be anything's possible. It's Star Wars, right?
Yep,
But I just have a hard time seeing it, But I'd be okay with it if it did happen. So I'm not against it, honestly.
absolutely. All right, well, thank you, Levi Jr. For a very good question. It was a fun one. Now we're going to go on to a YouTube subscriber named Shane Williams with his question: are we going to go to Disney's Star Wars Land when it's done?
If you could pay, I'll go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'll go.
Maybe if we get the subscriber count up a bit, we'll have a paid vacation. Anybody? Anybody want to pay for a vacation?
I'll go, but it's halfway across the country, so.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to go when it's done, but it's a question of having the money. If I'm lucky
Yeah,
enough
down
and
the
blessed
line,
enough.
Down the line, I'll definitely go, just not now.
Oh yeah, no, no way I could afford it right now. But if I'm lucky
Would I
and blessed
love to
enough,
see it and sure,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm certainly hoping to. It looks awesome, so from everything I'm hearing. Plus, I saw a video the other day where you could like fight an Inquisitor, and I just totally jumped at that. That was awesome. All right, so we're gonna move on to number 7. This is from Lincoin Carly. I probably butchered the hell out of that. At the Twitter handle WizBiz. The question is WizBiz. Anyway, here's the question: do we like? I personally do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old animated show I loved.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I'll admit, never really watched it that much, but when it was on TV, did watch it a little bit. But
You knew the
not a
premise
whole
though,
lot
right?
about it. I knew the premise of it though.
Okay, then that's all that matters.
I've seen episodes of it.
All right, and after that, the question is if we would prefer controlling particles within matter, like the elements in the show, or would we prefer using the Force?
Particles of matter, for sure.
I want to say the Force.
I'm with Manser. I'd also prefer the Force.
Well, based on the Earth, I would like where we live on this planet. I would rather be able to control particles, but based on if we lived in the Star Wars universe, obviously the Force. So kind of is all about placement.
Yeah.
So, as a human being, yeah, I'd rather be able to control water and fire and air and hell, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, but my thought is, like, if you were using the Force, couldn't you control most of those things anyway?
That's what I'm thinking.
Not to the level that.
Well, I mean, not to the level of Airbender, but still, I mean, like, for example, you know how that one chick in Airbender could control lightning? I mean, if you're a
Right.
Sith Lord, you get lightning.
Yeah, but then that also means that I'm an asshole.
Yeah, no, it does. It does mean you're an asshole. But I mean, she was an asshole in the show too, so I'm just saying, it seems like you're an asshole either way.
Either way, the only way you're gonna get lightning is if you're a jackass.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Only bad guys get the lightning.
Seems to be.
All right, we're gonna move on to number 8 from Darth Gravy 777. How did
Good.
Han Solo
Darth
and
Gravy?
yeah, Darth Gravy, yeah. How did Han
Makes me wanna have
Solo
Thanksgiving.
and Chewie become friends? And on that note, what did Han Solo and Lando add to the Millennium Falcon? Well, we're gonna go over how Han and Chewie became friends later, because that comes in a little later. But what they added to the Millennium Falcon, I think we all know one famous part they added to the Millennium Falcon, and that would be the hyperdrive, which made the ship considered to be the fastest in the entire galaxy.
Absolutely.
How many girls you think they had sex with on there?
What?
How many girls you think they had sex with on there?
Oh boy.
Uh, I
Double-teamed
mean,
Leia, let's
yeah,
be
I was gonna
honest.
say you gotta imagine Leia, right?
There's not very many women in the Star Wars universe, so
No, I mean you might get that. What was it? You said the Bothan spy
the
lady,
Bothan
maybe?
spy lady.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know I would have done it.
Woo!
Who wouldn't?
So yeah,
Bothan
they're,
spy lady.
they're hyperdrives. They added better shield, and I believe they added that turret underneath as well. The weapons.
Yep. That was a
Basically,
cool addition.
basically, the big upgrade was the hyperdrive, and it made it so Han Solo could escape Imperial Star Destroyers. So, thank you.
You basically just answered the question for us, so.
Yeah, I
There's
guess.
really nothing else to add.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really only one person thing. It's not even an
That's
opinion
more of a,
question,
like,
so.
To me, that's not really as much of a Q&A question as it's just like, okay, I can go on Wikipedia and see that, you know.
And guess what? For besides the hyperdrive, I did. Anyway,
Yeah,
moving
so
on.
there you go.
Anyway, moving on. Thank
Free
you, Darth
endorsement
Gravy.
for Wikipedia.
Yes, Wikipedia. Whoever says Wikipedia isn't good is a liar, because I love that website. That
That's a good
Wikia.
one.
I love that one. Okay, so the next one is from Maddie Fett. This is question number 9. Who is your favorite rebel besides the main characters? How about you start, Evan?
I don't know. I always liked. I mean, obviously Lando is an interesting character to me, and I mean some may consider him a main character, but I don't really. Cause it's
You
really
know,
just the
he wasn't
three
in
main
episode
characters.
7, so I don't consider him that main of a character.
Yeah, and not only that, but he's not even in A New Hope, and he's not one of the 3 main characters. So
You want to know who I
I'd
think one of
probably
your
say
favorite rebels is?
Lando.
And I think he must be escaping your mind, because I think you really do like this guy, because you mentioned him a bunch.
Wedge Antilles?
Yep, Wedge.
Yeah, Wedge is always a favorite of mine. I just always I would consider him the most underutilized character in Star Wars history.
He really is too. You're absolutely right. One of the best pilots.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe
and that
better
whole
than
story
Luke.
would have been told had they not deleted a bunch of scenes from A New Hope, and I wish
Yeah.
they had, because Wedge Antilles is fantastic. So yeah, I definitely wish he was used a little bit more and better.
Fair enough. All right. What about you, Twaska?
Zeb.
Oh, you like Zeb? Okay.
Rebels, yeah, that's my dude.
All right. Actually, I have a very similar answer. Mine, I couldn't choose. It was between Chopper and Kanan. To be honest, it's. I really like Chopper, and I know he's a droid, but he's still technically on the Rebels side. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a dick droid. I love that droid.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah, he is. Mansour, what about you? Do you have a favorite rebel?
Not for the missy, so it can't be a main one. So I'm gonna give
Yeah.
you kind of a funny answer. I'll give you a hint to who it is. I'm gonna give you a hint. See if you guys can guess it. Ready?
Oh,
Red
okay.
leader standing by.
Red leader standing by. Red leader standing by. Who was?
I'll give you a hint. He died in the 4th movie.
Was it Porkins?
Porkins?
Yes, it was.
Jack Porkins is your favorite rebel. That's awesome. I don't think he
Gotta
was
be out
Red
there,
leader
'cause, you
though.
know, I thought he was. I could be wrong, but I have the meme.
He
on my
was
phone,
definitely
so.
on the Red Squadron, though, so I'll give you that.
But no one else is gonna give that answer, and everyone else said everybody else. So I'm
Believe
just
it or
gonna
not, I
say,
had
yeah.
Porkins on my list, so I give you a lot of credit for
Oh,
that.
you did? You did?
I
Alright.
did have Porkins
Well,
on my list.
had to get him out there.
Porkins is one of those fun characters that doesn't have a lot of screen time, but we all admire him.
Oh,
When he died, you're like, shit.
he went out with.
He had probably
He
one
went
of
out
the
for a
best
cause.
death screams ever, though. Come on, like he screams very well when he dies. Like it's a good death.
Yeah, it was a
It's
good
a
death.
good movie death. He's
All
like,
right.
I'm hit. Ah! I mean, it's good shit. It's good shit. I mean,
And I mean,
Come
let's be honest. We all know why Lucas called him Porkins. Come on.
Because he's fat.
Exactly.
a little bit.
Okay, so let's move on to question number 10. Thank you, Maddie Fett, for that. The next
Appreciate
question.
that,
Tosca's got himself a girlfriend. All right. The next question is from Christopher Lee Gallant. And his question is, do you think that Kylo's character will be fully explained? And what do we think his origin story is? To make that as short as possible, I think his origin story goes based on what we know already. We know the future generation of Jedi turned against him. I think that's who the Knights of Ren are. And I think him and Rey are related, and he got rid of her so she couldn't stop him or anything like that.
I definitely think his character is going to be fully explained.
Yeah, that's
in
not
one
really
way
even
or another.
It can't really
I
be
don't
a
think that's
question. It has to be.
I hope it is. I mean, again, we haven't gotten all the explanations, I think, in Star Wars history, but I think that's one character because he's such a central focus that he will be explained properly. When it comes to like his origin story and whatnot, I mean, I think he's going to be told to be the next version of what Anakin was, because I think that that's really the direction they went with in Episode 7 anyway. Like, I think they've tried to make him the kind of character that loves power, but also has a natural pull to the light. Like, I mean, he literally even says, I can feel the light pulling me. So I think that his origin story, like, I mean, how much of it we get on screen won't be a ton. You'll see it more in books and comics and etc. But I think that he's more of an originating with a lot of light in him, but that dark consumes him. So it's kind of similar to the Anakin story, in my opinion.
Very similar.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you on that. How much of a background story we really get on screen, we don't know. But I definitely think some of his origin will be explained, though. I think some of what his character is all about, and I feel like we're gonna get some flashbacks eventually, and then within episode 8 and 9. I'm almost kind of.
I hope we get some. Yeah, I hope we get those flashbacks to like his childhood. I hope we can see a little bit of that. Like we don't need a whole film on him being a child. Episode 1. We just could use scenes and little tidbits of information that are important to the story. That would be good.
I agree. What about you, Twaska?
Yep, I agree.
I don't really think they need to go too much into it. I think they should just keep on moving forward. They explained it a little bit in 7 about what he did and whatnot, and
Yep.
I really don't think there needs to be much more said. Unless he runs into Leia, then they can have a moment.
Yeah, that needs to happen.
I think it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, I think we'll see some flashbacks, but that's just me. All right. Let's move on to question 11. This is from Blop Flop. Who shot first?
Han.
Han, yeah.
On.
Yep. I mean, there's no question.
Greedo!
I mean, let me say this much: if you watch the original theatrical release, there is no dispute.
Yeah. Oh God,
Han just flat out
it
shoots him.
looks like he shot him in cold blood. It was awesome.
And that's how it should have been, because Han exhibited, he rode the edge of good and bad. So Well, I don't understand why George Lucas was like, "Oh, I don't want to make him look like a killer." Like, no, he is a killer. Like, he's a smuggler. He's a fuck. He's not even. He's an anti-hero. Like, Han Solo is not supposed to be a fucking typical hero. That's what Luke Skywalker's fucking position is.
Exactly.
So,
People loved Han
like,
because he was loose
edgy.
cannon. Yeah, edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. But I think
Yep,
we're all in
absolutely.
agreement. Han shot first.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Okay, no longer a debate
100.
on this one. I think we can move on and keep this as a short one. So the next question is from Shiny Hot Dog. Why did
Yeah,
Anakin?
Hot dog.
What? What are you guys laughing at?
Badass name.
Oh, okay.
Shiny
Uh,
I
hot
thought he said
dog.
dibs.
All right, dibs, whatever.
Can I get some ketchup?
Why did?
Don't call at me?
Am I good? Can I say it now? Okay.
No.
No. Okay. Why did Anakin stay on the dark side even though his wife died? He joined it to protect her, didn't he?
Yeah, in his
Fine,
own mind.
Yeah. So why did he stay on the dark side?
I think
I
he
have a
stayed
few
on
reasons.
the dark. I think he stayed on the dark side. I think that fueled him to stay on the dark side more. I think her death forced him to stay on the dark side more because he felt so much more regret and pain. Fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate, and all that.
Yeah, hate leads to suffering. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he didn't
it's
have
all,
her
it's all
in
that.
his ear saying, "Don't do that," whatever. So his anger and fear led to him staying on the dark side.
I think both of your reasonings are awesome, and I didn't even think of that when I
I
was
know.
coming up with my answers. I think he truly wanted more power and to overthrow the Emperor because he was so power hungry. That's one of my reasons. And I also think maybe there was a side of fuck it, what else do I have going on?
Exactly. Yeah. What else is left for me?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, I think honestly, I agree with all your points. I just think, but I think was Seidel's point more that he was just power hungry. I think he really thought in his mind that he could probably overtake the Emperor at one point.
Well, we all know that he wanted to. You could see it in episode 5 when he was trying to persuade Luke to
Yeah,
join the
he
dark
literally
side.
wanted to overthrow the Emperor with Luke. That was part of his sales pitch, so to speak.
Yeah, and rule the galaxy as father and son.
And that was an amazing moment and line and scene.
Yeah. Awesome everything when it comes to Vader. Except that brat Jake Floyd. Lloyd. God damn it, I knew that. I know it's Lloyd.
Yeah, Floyd. Yeah,
Floyd.
might as well be. Sucks either way.
Touche.
He's gonna kick your ass.
All right, so
Yeah, well, he can come over anytime and I'll kick his ass and tell him he was
Dude, I'll
terrible.
back him up.
Oh yeah,
you know what, Evan? I got your back.
good.
All right, bring it on, bitches.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Shade Slayer 501st. Worst Sith Lord created, and then the worst Jedi ever created, I guess. And you guys want to hear my answer? The worst
Sure.
Sith Lord ever created was Darth Jar Jar Binks.
Damn,
Just
you
kidding.
stole my answer, bitch.
Okay. No, but seriously, I'm thinking according to the movies, I'm gonna say Darth Tyrannus.
Yep.
Just okay. I love Count Dooku outside of the movies. I love his EU. I love everything about his backstory and his EU
I love
backstory.
his backstory so much. I actually
And
think
I
he's
love.
got one of the best backstories.
I think he's an extremely interesting character. I think just in the movies they made him look really fucking stupid.
Agreed.
Also, Emily is kindly reminding me that Jar Jar Binks was her answer. Just wanted to get that out there.
I mean, that'd be just my answer in general. Worst character ever.
No, I know, but we're talking about Sith
No
Lords.
doubt about that.
So, who's the worst Sith Lord in your mind, guys?
Yeah, probably Count Dooku.
It's got to be Dooku. Yeah. I hate
Yeah.
to say it because I think he's got some cool qualities, but
He does.
I mean,
but
if Grievous was a Sith Lord, I would have said him, but because he was droid, then I can't even. But he was trained by Dooku.
yeah,
Fine.
no, he was trying to become a
reason-
Sith Lord, but he didn't complete his
he's
training.
not exactly, and I'll always say I actually think Grievous is even worse because the way they made him look in Episode 3 is pitiful. I really like he's an awesome character, but they made him look like shit. And I think, but overall, it's got to
When
be.
you say made him look like shit, you mean like booked him like shit, right?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
I was to put wrestling words into it, yes.
Fair enough. Yes. Okay.
They,
So if we booked him
yeah,
like
that
that,
fight with Obi-Wan was just crap.
yeah, no, it was an awful fight. All right. So that brings me to the next question, for number 13. In your opinion, who is the worst Jedi? I'm going to give you guys my answer right here, right now, and I think a few of you are going to disagree with me. Qui-Gon Jinn. I know. It's
Why?
painful. Okay. Think about everything that took place because of Qui-Gon Jinn. He picked up Anakin Skywalker. Not to mention, you know how he made that deal with Watto, right? To get Anakin?
Yeah.
Who's to say he couldn't pull another thing with Watto to get his mother? He just left Anakin's mother on Tatooine as a slave for Watto. And who's to say they couldn't trade R2-D2 in place for Shmi Skywalker? Maybe that would have
Yeah, but what?
prevented the little time bomb little fuck Anakin Skywalker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what about without R2? How would anything have ever happened
Yeah.
without him?
I'm just saying they could have traded R2. I know that a lot of things couldn't have happened with R2. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying if at the moment they could have traded R2 for an actual human being or 3PO. Oh wait, 3PO was already hers. Okay, well that's kind of a loss. But or think about it, they had a ton of supplies on that ship. They could have traded something. Or maybe made another deal or something like that. Let's see here, what else?
You don't think Qui-Gon would have went back later on if he didn't die?
Good point.
It didn't seem that way.
How would you know though?
We don't know. You're right. Not to mention he was going to go against the council's word and train him, and he was basically going to tell them to fuck off. And because of him bringing Anakin Skywalker in, a bunch of people died. A bunch of them, and I mean the whole Jedi Order died because of Qui-Gon Jinn.
What if he trained him? Like, you don't. They could have went completely different.
Could have.
He could have had
But
probably a better
I still,
connection than Obi-Wan.
well, maybe, but the Emperor still would have, Sidious would have still had his claws on Anakin. That doesn't change anything.
Are you sure?
I mean, couldn't you argue that Anakin's the worst Jedi ever because he turned to the dark side?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, I actually think that's probably my answer. I mean, it's hard for me to come up with a good one because there's a lot of Jedi who I like from like the Council.
Yeah.
Who we don't see a ton of screen time with, but we know a lot more about them because of animated series and
Yeah.
comics and
No, I won't
books,
lie to you.
etc.
Like, this was one of the toughest questions I've had, and I really do love Qui-Gon Jinn, but this is the best answer I could come up with.
Yeah, I mean, based off the films, it's a good one. I mean,
And
like, there's Jedi like, Kit Fisto, who I really like, and Ki-Adi-Mundi, and guys like that. But, like, based off the way they're featured in the movies, like, they're, like, you don't really know that much about them. You really have to kind of delve further into them. So I'm going to have to pick somebody who is featured frequently on the main screen, and it's probably going to be Anakin because he, did turn and everything. But, I mean, I know he fulfilled the prophecy, but, I mean, technically he's the reason that there was even conflict beyond just the Emperor in general, and he could have let the Emperor's life be ended. Mace Windu was about to although it took some evil in Mace Windu to do what he was about to do. If he had done that, then the ultimate Sith Lord would have been gone, and what
You're
happened in
absolutely
the
right.
Galactic Civil War all would have been, for naught. So I'm going to say Anakin.
All right.
As
You
much
see,
as I love him, he's my favorite. So.
See, it's tough for me because I was kind of leaning towards Mace Windu too to be one of my worst, but just because he didn't finish it off when he could have, he kind of just procrastinated in a way. I feel like, but it's either him or Anakin, really. It boils down to for me.
See, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I get what you're saying, because in that shot, it looks like Mace Windu's kind of hesitating on killing on killing Sidious, but I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
that's just his like natural like intuition of like, okay, I'm a Jedi and I don't do this usually. But he because you can see him kind of like shake his head. He's like, I know this isn't the way, but I have to do this because I have to save everybody.
Yeah,
And then Anakin cuts his hand off, which prevents him from doing that, and to me, therefore, makes Anakin even worse.
yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think Windu's the worst Jedi ever created, but that is your opinion, and I will honor that. What about you, Tuaska?
Terrible with names, but the two Jedis that are with Mace Windu when they went after the Emperor,
Oh,
they did
okay,
nothing.
but not Kit
They
Fisto,
just
right?
got killed. No,
They
Kit Fisto
literally
lasted.
sucked.
Okay,
He lasted.
I'm just making sure. I love Kit Fisto.
He lasted
Pansies.
a couple of seconds.
Yeah, not great
Exactly.
Jedi Masters, huh?
Seconds.
Kit Fisto did
Garbage.
everything he could, man.
R.I.P. Kit Fisto. Okay,
Disgrace.
okay, I think we got enough in for that question. All right, thank you,
I'm
Shade
not
Slayer, Shade Slayer 501st for those very good questions. We now move on to I period F123. That's our name. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these I got from discussion boards, so don't be shocked for some of the names. All right, number 14. How do you think the Knights of Ren will tie into the story for episode 8 and episode 9?
We've kind of already gone over this. For
Yeah,
my
I know.
opinion, I think. Yeah, I mean, we probably all have the same.
Yeah, they're connected to Kylo Ren. I mean, they're going to be defending Kylo Ren. They're going to have his back, and I think that they are the former generation that Luke was training of Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Anybody got anything else to add to that?
There's really not a whole lot else to add. I'm very intrigued with like the role they're gonna play. I'm honestly excited about it, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean that's about as far as we can take it right here, right now.
Yeah. All right, and then number 15, we just talked about our worst Jedi. Who's your favorite Jedi, guys? Mine, personally, I'm going to say either Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi. I could not choose.
I'm going with Luke Skywalker myself.
Good
I'm
choice.
gonna go with Luke Skywalker as well.
I've always had a thing for Plo Koon.
Yeah, Plo Koon's awesome, so I get that.
Plo Koon is awesome, especially like just the way he looks. Even is enough. For me to say,
Yeah.
yeah, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I believe he wears
But-
that contraption, that mask, because Coruscant's atmosphere is too much for him to handle or something like that. I can't remember the exact reasoning,
I'm
but
actually gonna change my answer real quick. I'm gonna go to Yoda.
you're going to go Yoda. Okay. Why the sudden change?
I just like the words of wisdom Yoda has. Kind of, he says the right things at the right time.
All right.
He's like the
fair.
all-encompassing God, so I understand that.
Yeah,
reasoning.
that's a good choice. So I guess we're pretty good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone gets why we chose Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan
Oh, yeah,
Kenobi
he's-
or
he's
Plo
the
Koon
most human,
or Yoda.
Thank
most
you.
human of all time.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely
He
is.
exhibits everything a hero should be.
Who, Plo Koon?
Yes. How did you know that's who I was actually referring to?
I can
No
do
comment.
All right. So now we are going to be moving on to Revan Gin. That's our 16th question of the Q&A. How did Mace Windu and Yoda know of the rule of two in The Phantom Menace if Darth Bane and the Sith had gone into what he says fighting after its creation? Where he says fighting, I think he means hiding after its creation. And to be honest, I don't know a lot about Darth Bane. I don't know a lot about the EU, to be perfectly honest, because I haven't looked a lot of it over. I know some things, but not a ton. I'm thinking they basically discovered the rule of two because maybe the Jedi had come into contact with other Siths over time, and maybe they just happened to notice that that the Sith worked in a pair rather than in groups.
Well,
Yeah, I'm sure they
it's
could
kind-
figure that out.
What were you saying?
I just said they probably could have figured that out as time went on. And they fought,
Yeah,
so-
I mean, I was gonna kind of piggyback off that with like the whole, well, it's a master and an apprentice type of thing. You know, that's
Hmm.
I think it's kind of like the commander and the learner. You know, that's how it always really was. That's just them in a nutshell. I mean, I mean, you can accompany it to, um, you know, the way that there's Sidious and Maul, and then Dooku is the next one, and then you can even spin that off with Dooku and Grievous at the same. Like it's always like a pair. It's always like a rule of two, and then Sidious and Vader, and
But you notice that every Sith seems to break that rule. The apprentice tends to betray the master and take on their own apprentice, and they become the master.
absolutely,
And
yeah.
that's why the Sith aren't successful.
Yep, yeah, too power hungry, and that's why they are very representative of dictatorships, because uh, dictatorships are a rule of one, not a rule of two, and the Sith try to do a rule of two, but that never actually works because both want the actual power for themselves, and that's, I think, what that story tries to tell us.
Absolutely. What do you guys got to add? Anything?
No,
Not really.
All right, works for me. We're gonna move on to question 17 from Master Pergon, and this is a really basic question, guys, that I did a little research for. Um, I know that Evan and Manser, you guys have not watched Rebels. Me and Twaska have caught up on Rebels for the most part. Why are the lightsabers in Rebels thinner? And I did a little looking up, and it turns out that the show's art style is primarily based off of Ralph McQuarrie's original concept art for the original trilogy. And the thinner lightsabers, for example, are a really good example of that art style. If you look up some of the concept art for the original trilogy, you'll see it. It's actually kind of cool.
Very interesting. That's
I,
a
I
show that
Good
I
answer.
really want to get into myself.
it's good. I highly
Definitely.
suggest it. And I love that show. It's a great show. And I really like the artwork actually behind it. Although from the trailer, I don't like how Yoda and Anakin look, but that's all right. I like how Vader looks though. It's a good
Vader
look.
looks awesome.
Vader does look awesome. All right, so oops, we're moving on to. If anyone's wondering why, voice crack, exactly. Okay, moving on. Question 18 from Embo Hired Gun. What's everyone's favorite scene in the whole saga? I'll lead off by saying Episode 6, the victory scene when they're all dancing around with the Ewoks and Luke looks up and sees the Force ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda and his father, Anakin Skywalker. I don't know, the music, it hits it right, and it hits me where I live. Not to mention, I get to yell Yub Nub, so I mean, it's pretty awesome too. I mean, not nowadays, but back then I got to yell Yub Nub. Yub Nub.
Yeah. If you
Um,
watch the original, you got to yell yub nub.
exactly. What about you guys?
I have to. This is pretty generic, but I'm gonna have to say when Darth Vader's telling Luke that he's his father. He's like,
Oh, it's a classic
search your
scene. I don't
feelings, you
blame
know
you.
it to be true. It's one of the most classic scenes in movie history, honestly.
It is
Uh,
one of the biggest
Gives me
reveals
chills.
ever.
So, but I would have to say that one just because it still is my favorite, even though it might be a lot of other people's favorites, but it definitely is one of my favorites.
Fair enough. What about you, Evan?
The entire duel between Luke and Vader in Episode 6.
Good man. That's another
The
favorite scene of mine.
emotion, the emotion of Luke, especially when he goes into hiding, and then Vader says, "Perhaps your sister will turn to the dark side if you won't," and then he just comes out and screams that like passionate, just like triumph of like, get the fuck out of here, and just goes off on him, and the music and the pacing from Williams in the background is just unbelievable, and just brings out emotion in you as the viewer, and as the emotion is building in Luke Skywalker. So some of the best storytelling in the entire saga, and I don't know if that scene could ever be topped.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard because I love that scene too. What about you, Twaska?
I might be still on the hype train for episode 7, but when Finn screams Rey's name, that whole scene, and then the Resistance comes in and all that stuff.
You talking about
That's
when
when
they're
it
at
gets
Maz Kanata's castle and Kylo Ren's
Yes.
taking Rey back to the Starkiller base?
Yep, that whole scene.
That was it definitely had the feels there. I remember when we were watching in the theater for the first time and Kylo Ren yelled traitor at Finn, I got the goosebumps. It was awesome.
Yeah, that
was very cool. Definitely some iconic moments from episode 7.
Yeah, they did a great job. Very proud of that movie. All right, so thank you, Embo Hired Gun, for that one question. That was good. Next, we're moving
Yes,
on to
thank you.
question 19 from not the Sisa Dim. I don't know. You have a tough one.
Butcher.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna butcher the hell out of these. All right. His question is, why did the R5 unit Uncle Owen was going to buy instead of R2 in Episode 4 suddenly have its motivator die? Evan, I think you have the best answer to this question if you wanna tell me it.
Well, first of all, why don't you ask him yourself? And secondly, I mean, without R2D2 in this entire saga, where do we go? Like R2 was meant to be. Like, I mean, we're told from the very beginning of A New Hope that R2 and C-3PO are very important characters because they miraculously are able to walk through all the gunfire from the rebels and the stormtroopers when they're on the Tantive 4 at the beginning and get into an escape pod. And not only that, but R2 also has the information from Princess Leia. So, I mean, I think all of that, in a nutshell, is just enough to... It's like a connection thing. Like, R5 was not... He's rebounded by appearing in Battlefront, but R5 had his moment to shine. That was it.
You know, I honestly thought you were gonna say because production or something like that, but that works too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean...
Storytelling or something.
And also,
that works.
yeah, well, you could also say that there's a lack of continuity because R5 breaks down, and then they go back in the next scene, and you can see R2 after Uncle Owen says, to the Jawas, he says, hey, what about that blue one? And then they go back and they show R2, and then you can still see R5 in the background as if he hadn't moved yet. So, a little bit of a production issue with that.
Yeah. I think, my honest answer for this is, I think it was, and this is just based off of the storytelling. I think, like you said, continuity-wise, it had to be R2 that went with Luke and Uncle Owen because of the Death Star plans. But I also think that was the Force's way of making that happen. Almost giving the rebels the push that they needed. And that would be R2 being sold to Luke Skywalker. Well, Uncle Owen, but, tomato, tomato.
Uncle Owen.
Come get your blue milk.
See, mine's gonna be a little bit more far-fetched because I'm gonna take this really far-fetched here. And people are gonna think I'm crazy, but I think that when they were in when they were traveling, I think C-3PO did something to R5, so he would do that. Something would happen to him.
I mean, anything's possible.
Just to give like a different answer.
That's fair.
But...
That's fair. What about you, Tosca?
To be honest, I was kind of spacing, so.
Why
Next question.
Okay, fine. We'll move on. We don't need his answer.
Sup, brah?
All right, we said we were going to come back. I said I was going to come back to this one. Same from the same guy. Why does I said same guy just because I don't want to butcher his name again. Why does Chewbacca owe Han Solo a life debt? Well, we talked about earlier how one of the questions was how does Han and Chewie meet? And according to the EU, Chewie owed Han a life debt, which is I guess a thing for the Wookiees. And in this case, I guess Han was an Imperial officer or something in the Imperial Navy, supposedly according to the EU, and Chewie was being held by the Empire, and Han helped him escape, and that's why Chewie owes Han a life debt or something like that. I don't know. There's no. I'd prefer to just stick to canon and just stick to what the movies are and the TV shows because the EU isn't a thing anymore. As much as I want it to be, and as much as I like some of the stuff that came from it, it's not valid at this point anymore. So I think it's wise just to say we don't know exactly how they became friends. Your thoughts, guys?
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough.
I don't really have anything else to add to that. I think that's a good way of putting it.
They both dated the same girl, and they realized she was crazy, and they became best friends.
Yeah.
All right, Disney, balls in your court. Make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to question 21. It's from Swantek. Who is the second highest ranking bounty hunter in 21 BBY, which stands for Battle Before Yavin? Or before the Battle of Yavin, excuse me. I mixed up the B's there. To which I had to do a ton of research into because I had no idea who. Because at first I was like, oh, Jango Fett, and then I was like, oh, shit, he died.
I feel like that's more of a trivia question than anything.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
not even.
Doesn't it feel like it?
That's not really a Q&A
I don't even
question.
know. I don't even know the answer to that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's
But
alright.
to be
That's
honest,
fair.
like Q&A questions to me are like things that you can discuss and there's debate about. Whereas this is like something that is in the extended universe of Star Wars that can be looked up online and found out by anybody.
Yeah. Well, just to.
I mean, I'm not, like disrespecting the person who asked the question. I'm just flat out saying like, I don't see that as like a plausible Q&A question.
I agree with Manser when he says it was like a trivia question because I really do think it took a good amount of research for me to even come up with an answer.
I didn't even bother looking it up because I just honestly was just like, all right, well, someone else will look it up.
I feel like that's something you'd
Fair.
be asking like Trivial Pursuit Star Wars Edition,
Yeah, I'd get
Pretty
fucked
much.
up too. Without the internet, I definitely couldn't have
So what's
figured
the
this one
answer?
out.
So
I
what's the
mean,
answer?
there's no real right answer for me. It's more of a matter of opinion.
so-
But
No,
at
I
this
was gonna
time
go,
during the
what
Clone
is
Wars,
the answer?
oh my answer. During the Clone Wars, I believe the number one ranked bounty hunter was a guy named Cad Bane, and he is in the Clone Wars. I'm not sure if you guys have seen much of that TV show, but he's a bounty hunter in there. So if he's the best, I'd say there's this woman named Aora Singh. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Aora Singh. And she was the person that was training Boba Fett after his father died, and that's why I believe she is second, uh, the second ranked bounty hunter during the Clone Wars.
I dig it.
Yeah, that's the best research I could come up with.
So there's still really no answer.
I mean, there's no confirmed answer. It's more of an opinion, I guess. I mean, that's all I got for you.
So you lost me. Next question.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so the next question, question 22, is from a person named Cheesy Han. Or if I was Lando, I'd say Cheesy Han. Anyway, Han, old buddy. All right, let's do this. What is our favorite planet in the Star Wars universe?
Hoth.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say Hoth too.
Evan?
I'm gonna switch it up and go with.
I know it's tough. I had to think about it.
I'm gonna go with Coruscant.
All right. I actually went with Ankh 2 from Episode 7. It is the planet that Luke is located on at the end of the movie.
Okay.
But I will write side note, I love Hoth too. Hoth would have
me
been.
too. Because my immediate answer would be Hoth too.
Yep.
Actually, another planet that's really cool that I think's underrated as fuck is Camino. I think that's
Yeah,
a
Camino
really
is cool.
interesting planet.
The
Very,
constant
very
rainfall.
Interesting planet. Yep, I
Yeah.
wish that planet would be explored again because it was really cool. I mean, obviously, it's Episode 2 is Episode 2, but still, really cool. And even Geonosis was kind of cool as well. I actually think the prequel movies had some really cool planets. I gotta admit, Coruscant to me, fucking awesome, and I always loved the design and the look of the city. That's why I'm gonna go ahead with that one.
All right, well let's do it like this. What's your favorite movie? Not your favorite movie. What's your favorite planet in the prequel trilogy and then in the original trilogy? Twaska, you first.
Original Hoth, obviously, and then. Oh God. I might need a minute.
All right. That's fine. Well, we can come back to you if you'd like.
Yep.
I'll go. I'll say in the prequel trilogy, my favorite was definitely Mustafar. Although it was made out of all CGI, I still love the hell out of it. I don't know. It's just a whole planet covered in lava. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then original trilogy is definitely Hoth, and then the newest, movie it's Anch 2. What about you, Evan?
I'm gonna stick with Coruscant for the prequels, and for the original trilogy, Dantooine.
Dantooine.
No,
We've
not
never
really.
even seen Dantooine.
Yes, exactly. No, the remaining bits of Alderaan, actually. No, just kidding again. I don't really want to say Hoth because everyone else is saying Hoth, and like I want to say something different. Hoth is my favorite. There's no doubt, but I'm gonna also like just say that Tatooine will always be special to me because there's so much of because A New Hope will always be the movie that drew me to Star Wars in the first place, and I always felt it was so cool that like when R2 and 3PO land on Tatooine and are exploring, and the Jawas are seeking them out, and then Obi-Wan and Luke meet up, and then there's Mos Eisley, and there's just so much to Tatooine that I like too. So that's always going to be a favorite of mine. So my alternate answer would be Tatooine.
All right. What about you, Manter?
Uh, Staying with Hoth for the original, and then prequels. Uh, I don't know. And I'm not
My
really good with the
prequel,
names.
Naboo.
Yeah, I would go with Naboo. That's from the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
Naboo is
go with that.
cool.
Yeah, I'd go with that one.
Was that your answer, Tosca, as well?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So thank you, Cheesy Han, for that.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Uh, anyway. Number 23. It's from a user on a discussion board simply known as Luigi. Which is our favorite Star Wars movie? Mine is personally Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. You guys?
7.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to go 7. If we conclude the new one, I don't know if that is it
Yeah.
from the
Yeah, the new
original
one is
6
definitely
Yeah,
or.
I mean
included.
that's
Yeah.
been released. There's no reason not to.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't sure if it was a question was if out of the original 6
No, your favorite Star Wars movie.
or I'm
Yeah,
going 7.
mine's gonna be Empire Strikes Back Episode 5 forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I guarantee you that I'm way too much of a nostalgia junkie to ever really like see a movie as better than it. Although I do love Episode 7, 5, and 4 both still outrank it in my opinion. And so New Hope is. I mean, I'm not like trying to rank them here. I'm just saying like I like 7 a lot, but always going to be Empire Strikes Back, baby.
That's perfectly fair. I mean, it is still considered the best, and overall, it's considered the best Star Wars movie out there.
Deservedly so.
And it absolutely, any of the original trilogies and Episode 7 can definitely be ranked as the best Star Wars movies, in my opinion.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Thank you, Luigi, to Nywar for our 24th question. Why are people obsessed with the Snoke Plagueis theory? And then he asks, how much will overt PC in The Force Awakens damage the integrity of the saga? See, I don't know what overt PC means. Anyone got anything for that?
Political correctness is what I would assume.
Oh,
Sounds good to me.
yeah, sure, fine, okay, fuck it.
I
Um,
love it.
Yep, let's do it. Okay, so why are people obsessed with the Snoke Plagueis theory? Well, I think a lot of people are obsessed with Darth Plagueis just because in Episode 3, that famous opera scene, if you will, um, Emperor or Darth Sidious mentioned his master, or, well, we didn't know it was his master, but it was implied that it's his master. Darth Plagueis could save people from dying. And to which he
Yep.
explained the story and everything. And I think people are really hoping that it will just tie in and that they will take advantage of something from the prequels and bring it in to the current trilogy. And I think it's a
Yeah, and
perfect way to tie it all in.
yeah, I think that everybody likes to make a connection everywhere. Like that's why you hear all the Rey rumors of being either related to Luke or related to Obi-Wan or whatever, and everybody's got to be related to everyone. And I don't think that that's necessary at all. And that's why like Snoke and oh, it's got to be Plagueis because he's a previously mentioned character. Like people just seem to have an issue with just simply saying that this could just be Snoke, and that's it. He's Supreme Leader Snoke. That's all there is to it. Goodbye. But I have no problem with him being Plagueis. In fact, you can see a little bit of a similarity in the look, I guess. It's not like overt, but I would say that there's some similarity there, and there's even the theory about him being a deformed Vader, a deformed Sidious. I mean, I think all of those things are interesting to talk about, but I am a million% okay with it just being Supreme Leader Snoke. So, but I think people are just obsessed with that theory because holy shit, everything has to be connected, you know?
I heard a theory just the other day, and the dude actually did a really good job explaining it. And it's the craziest Plagueis theory I've heard yet. Supreme Supreme Leader Snoke is really Princess Leia. Isn't that crazy? I don't know. The guy explained it. He basically, yeah, I know.
So
No,
she got that ugly? Oh, man.
yeah.
She's a beautiful woman.
I want to
think
see her in
so.
a slave outfit.
Damn right.
Yeah, now.
I would.
Today. Yeah.
Anyway, what do you think, Twaska?
I don't really get the big hubbub of trying to put him to someone else. I mean, just let him be the character he is, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then that's that.
All right, Manser.
Basically, I agree with what Tawaska said on that one. Like, just let him be his own character.
That never happened.
Honestly, like, why does everyone have to be related to everybody, or have to be somebody from another movie? You know, why can't we just have like new characters?
It all starts with Lando.
Lando is Supreme Leader Snoke. I figured it out.
Clearly.
Cool.
I think it actually
Because
might
honestly-
be Porkins.
Yeah, from the dead.
Yeah.
Steve Porkins got really deformed when he got blown up in the X-Wing.
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's making sense. Come
Here it
on.
is.
For anybody that actually thinks we're serious, I'm completely kidding. No, I'm
dead
not.
serious.
The funny part
Yes,
is
I
there's
am.
probably people who actually would take that seriously.
Oh, guaranteed.
It's Yoda's cousin.
Oh my god, you guys are stupid!
I believe it.
So, how much will overt PC and TFA damage the integrity of the saga? Does anyone really understand the question? Because I'm kind of having trouble understanding it.
I'm gonna
Well,
say
if
a
it-
lot.
Even though we don't
If there
understand the
is-
question.
If there is a if that is about so political correctness, I mean,
Okay, you know what? I have the answer. I'm going to take the Family Guy method on this. So the question is, how much will overt PC in the TFA damage the integrity of the saga? My answer, 9/11. Oh, your answer's probably better than mine.
no, but really, like, what's so politically correct about the Force Awakens? I'm just
You see, I don't know. I don't get the question.
I didn't even know that. I don't even know.
Oh, well.
how to
I didn't
answer
even I didn't think that even played a role in that film like that.
No.
I mean, again, maybe that's something that this particular person noticed that I did not notice. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they're wrong or anything.
I really wish he hadn't
Well, the white
abbreviated PC.
supremacist people were saying they were trying to boycott the movie.
I remember that. Yeah, just
Yeah.
because John Boyega, who plays
Yeah.
Finn, was black and a main character. Those
But I
people
love
disgust
that.
me. Yeah, those
Yeah,
people disgust
exactly.
me.
I love
Racist
I love
pigs.
that they had a black actor play one of the lead roles.
Yeah.
It's about damn time things get a little more diverse in films.
Yeah, absolutely, it should.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up with our last question here from Todd Masters. A very simple one. What is our favorite gun and star card in Battlefront? Mine simply is the E11 blaster, and for my star card, I usually primarily use the explosive shot, which makes your gun a lot more powerful when it kills someone, so I don't die as often. You guys?
Like the A290C, if I'm saying it right. I don't even know. And then is the card the one in the middle, or is that the fucking?
I think it's
Start-
any of them.
Yeah, it could be any of them, I believe.
The one I use is the like personal bubble, I guess, the bubble shield.
Okay.
Oh, the one that
Helps
like protects you
Walker
from
assault.
getting hurt.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Evan?
My favorite. Well, I like the DL. Is it DL-44 blaster? I think
Yeah,
that's the name.
I can take a look for you
Um,
real fast.
It's DL. I know it starts DL. Either way, I like that blaster because it's really, really good close range, and I also like the E11 as well as an overall because of its fire rate. And when it comes to the star card, I'm probably just gonna be honest and say I really like the thermal detonator. I always like having a grenade. I mean, maybe that's me in my years of playing Call of Duty, but I don't know. I always like having a grenade, and I think that's always a valuable piece of the puzzle. It's very simple and basic, but yeah, that's always been
And you're
a favorite. And I really like using the ion torpedo as well for
Yes,
like
love it.
Walker assault. You know.
and you were talking about the DL-44 pistol?
Yep.
Yep, all right. The one that kind of looks like Hans?
Yes.
Yeah,
I like that
gotcha.
one.
Yeah, I like that one too. What about you, Manser?
For gun, I would say I think was it the E11? I think the one you said.
Yeah.
Yep.
I use that. I personally one of my favorites, and then I use the jetpack.
The boost, yeah. Yeah, I like that, the jump
Yeah, that's
pack.
a good one.
Yeah. That's one of my primary ones I use all the time, especially on the big maps.
Yeah, it helps you get around so much faster.
Yeah, I
Easily.
love the jetpack.
Well, thank you guys very much for joining me on the Q&A. And thank you for everyone that
Anytime.
submitted questions. I liked a lot of them. A lot of them were really fun. There were a few ones I wasn't huge on, but that's all right. You know, beggars can't be choosers, right? But thank you for everybody that did submit questions. I do highly appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate it.
No comment.
And thank you guys for.
Damn it!
Clearly.
Good night.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. If you wouldn't mind following our Twitter page at the Rebel Fleet, and if you wouldn't mind pressing that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate that. And leave your comments below. Maybe ask another question for our second Q&A whenever that gets here. I'll surely add it. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, remember, hit that subscribe button. That really means something. All right. Have a good night.